Welcome. Today, we descend into the dark heart of Los Angeles, to a place where death was never a surprise, but rather a frequent guest. This is the Cecil Hotel, a 1924 landmark that was meant to be a symbol of glamour, but instead became a gateway to the bizarre. The Cecil housed the worst of humanity: mass suicides, overdoses, and yes, notorious serial killers such as Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, who allegedly stayed here, supposedly paying his rent with blood. But none of the hundreds of deaths that stain the corridors of this hotel are as chilling, as full of unanswered questions, as the case we are examining today. The case that transformed the Cecil Hotel from a mere footnote in crime history into a global internet myth. I am talking about the disappearance and inexplicable death of Elisa Lam. Elisa Lam was a 21-year-old Canadian student from Vancouver. She was not a typical tourist seeking parties. She was on a journey of self-discovery, a solo West Coast tour. She maintained daily contact with her family and shared her thoughts, often introspective, on her personal blog. What is crucial to understand about Elisa is her mental health. She openly lived with bipolar disorder and depression. For her family, this trip was a sign of progress, an attempt to live life fully. She was medicated, but the history of the illness always loomed over her. On January 26, 2013, Elisa arrived in Los Angeles and, for reasons only she would know, checked into the Cecil Hotel. Initially, she was placed in a shared room, but after complaints from her roommates about her strange behavior, she was moved to a private room. The final days of January were filled with sightseeing and social media posts. But on January 31st, 2013, Elisa Lam simply vanished. Her parents in Canada did not receive her daily call. The silence was deafening. Police launched a search. The last place Elisa was seen was the Cecil itself. The investigation, however, appeared to stall until the Los Angeles Police Department made an unusual decision. They released to the public footage from the hotel's elevator security camera. The video. Recorded in the early hours of February 1st, this 56-second clip became the centerpiece of the mystery and a viral phenomenon analyzed and debated by millions. What we see is not the behavior of someone mentally stable, nor of a person fleeing in a typical sense. It is something far more sinister. Analyzing the video, scene by scene. Entry: Elisa enters the elevator. She presses several buttons. The door does not close. Fear: she hides in the corner, peering out of the elevator door as if she is hiding from someone or something. Her body is tense. Bizarre behavior: she exits the elevator, looks quickly to both sides of the hallway, gestures frantically, and appears to be talking to someone, or perhaps to no one at all. Her arms move in ways that seem disjointed, almost choreographed. Resignation: she returns to the elevator, but the doors remain open. Finally, she simply leaves, turns left, and disappears from view, toward what should have been the last moments of her life. What prevented her from leaving the elevator? Why didn't the doors close? Who, or what, was she gesturing to in the hallway? After weeks of searching, the Lam family offered a reward, but police found no leads. Investigators scoured the hotel, including the rooftop, without success. Meanwhile, Cecil guests began to complain. The water coming from the faucets and showers had low pressure. Worse still, it had a strange odor, a dark color, and a taste some described as sweet and nauseating. Nearly 3 weeks after her disappearance, on February 19th, the hotel's maintenance manager was forced to investigate the source of the problem. He went up to the roof to inspect the 4 large water tanks that supplied the entire hotel. To reach the roof, a person would need a security code or a key to access the door, in addition to climbing a fire escape. The water tanks themselves were protected by heavy metal hatches, extremely difficult for one person to open alone. And it was inside one of those tanks that he found her. Elisa Lam's body was naked, floating face down in the Cecil Hotel's potable water. Her clothes were floating beside her. The body had to be removed by the fire department, which used power saws to cut open the side of the tank. Think about that. For 19 days, hundreds of people drank, showered, and brushed their teeth with water in which Elisa's body was decomposing. The official cause of death, determined by the Los Angeles coroner, was accidental drowning, with bipolar disorder listed as a significant factor. There was no evidence of physical trauma, sexual assault, or suicide. But this official conclusion fails miserably to answer two crucial questions. The impossible logistics. How did Elisa get to the roof? The access door was locked and alarmed. The roof was difficult to reach. If she used the fire escape, did anyone see her? How did she get into the tank? The tank lids were heavy and reportedly closed. The tank was over 2 meters tall and had no ladder. If this was an accidental drowning, did she climb up alone, remove her clothes, and then the heavy lid somehow close over her? It is almost unthinkable. The police's only explanation was that the tank lid was already open or that Elisa opened it herself while in a state of psychotic mania. Sinister coincidences. And as if the mystery weren't enough, there are a series of bizarre coincidences that only make the case more disturbing. The tuberculosis test. Shortly after Elisa's death, the city of Los Angeles experienced a tuberculosis outbreak. The test used to diagnose the disease was called Elisa. The position of the body. Many noticed eerie similarities between Elisa's case and the 2002 horror film Dark Water, in which a girl dies in a building's water tank and her decomposition causes problems with the water supply. The elevator game. In internet creepypasta culture, there is a ritual known as the elevator game, where a specific sequence of floors must be pressed to travel to another dimension. Some argue that Elisa's behavior in the elevator was a failed attempt at this ritual. The elevator video is the strongest piece of evidence for the homicide theory. If Elisa was alone, she was reacting to hallucinations. If she was reacting to a real person, then that person would be her killer. A Mexican musician who stayed at the Cecil, named Pablo Vergara, was immediately identified as a suspect by the online community after it was discovered that he had posted videos with murder themes in the hotel and that his stage name was Morbid. Although police quickly cleared him, the online harassment he suffered is a reminder of the power and cruelty of the internet in cases like this. The official version is cold. A young woman with mental health issues had a psychotic episode, climbed to the roof of the Cecil Hotel, removed her clothes, entered one of the water tanks, and drowned. But what brought her to the roof? How did she gain access? And why does the elevator video display such a strange and distressing dance? The mystery of Elisa Lam is a perfect storm of tragedy, illness, a cursed location, and digital evidence that leaves us more confused than enlightened. Her death is an enigma the Cecil Hotel will forever keep within its shadowed walls. And the only comfort that remains is the chill we feel knowing that sometimes reality is far more bizarre than any horror fiction we could ever imagine.